All right, let's talk macronutrients today. So these are the big three: the protein, the fats, and the carbs. And we're going to kind of just go over what each of them is, what they do for us, and what are some good sources for them. And this video is going to be a little bit on the long side. So if you are if you don't have a lot of time right now, you maybe want to push pause and come back in a little bit and watch it when you have a little bit more time. But I'm going to try to go through it fairly quickly, but kind of hit some of the important highlights. So let's start with protein. Okay, protein is a really important nutrient. There are 20 amino acids that our body needs in order to function optimally. 11 of those are amino acids that our bodies naturally make. 9 of them are essential. What that means is that they have to be gotten from the food that we eat. Okay, our body does not naturally produce them. We have to get them from the food that we eat. So that's 9. There's 9 of those 20 that we have to get from our food. Okay, so so the amino acids are the building blocks of protein, and what the amino acids do for us is they help to break down our food. They help to grow and repair tissue, including muscle. Okay, they build muscle. They help to maintain healthy hair, skin, and nails, and they help to make hormones and brain chemicals that are important for our body. They provide an energy source. It's kind of a third level energy source, but there's a little bit in the mix there. And it also helps to maintain a normal digestion. Okay, keeping our digestive system healthy. And some good sources of protein include your meat, okay, your beef and your poultry, fish, especially the more lean fish. The white fish has a little bit more protein than fat in it. Also, eggs and dairy. Greek yogurt is a great source of protein and dairy. Some cheeses are higher in protein than fats, but most cheeses are going to be a little heavier on the fats. But Greek yogurt is a great source of dairy source of protein. And when you're getting protein in your diet, you want to, as much as possible, get protein that is as close to its natural form as possible. Okay, so like your whey protein is it's good, but it's not best. For one thing, it usually comes in liquid form, which is not as satisfying. It doesn't keep you as full for longer. So it's a supplement. You want to use it more as a supplement than as a primary source of protein. And the protein bars and stuff like that. Okay, there's a lot of other stuff in there. We're going to get into a bit more of convenience / processed foods versus whole foods next week. But as much as possible, we want whole food sources of protein, and really all of these. Okay, let's go to fats next. Fat, again, is an essential nutrient. We have to get it from the food that we eat. It helps our body absorb certain vitamins, the fat soluble vitamins. Okay, that's vitamin A, D, E, and K. Those are your fat soluble vitamins. So in order for your body to absorb those, you've got to have some fat. Also, it helps with temperature regulation and helps to produce and regulate hormones, especially your sex hormones. Concentrated fuel source. There's a lot more energy per gram of fat than there is per gram of carbs. So that's why it's a concentrated fuel source. Dietary fat, any dietary fat, but particularly the omega-3s, are very protective of heart health and can help to maintain healthy cholesterol levels and help to fight inflammation. Okay, there's 4 different kinds of fats. 2 are considered quote unquote good fats or healthy fats, and 2 are considered the quote unquote bad fats or less healthy fats. And so real quick, the quote unquote healthy fats are your monounsaturated fats and your polyunsaturated fats. Okay, the monounsaturated fats you're going to find in your nuts, almonds, your olives, your extra virgin olive oil, And the polyunsaturated fats, those are your omega-6 and omega-3s. Okay, omega-6s are found primarily in like vegetable oils, and omega-3s are found in like fish oils, and fatty fish like salmon is a great source of omega-3. Flax and chia seeds are also good sources of omega-3 fats, and walnuts as well. Now, in the standard American diet, we get a lot of omega-6s in our diet. We get a little less omega-3s. So a lot of times people will supplement with omega-3s in order to kind of balance those out a little bit. But you can avoid having to supplement if you just introduce some fish into your diet, some olives into your diet, or the flax and chia seeds and the walnuts. And there's other sources too. You can look up online and find some other sources of good omega-3 fatty acids, because we want as much of our nutrients to come from food as possible. And then, so the quote unquote bad fats is going to be your saturated fats. You're going to find those in your partially hydrogenated oils, and butter and cheese are also have saturated fats in them. And saturated fat is not all bad, but we do want to limit the amount that we eat. Okay, it's a little less protective of heart health, can contribute to rises in unhealthy cholesterol levels, your LDL. And so we want to limit that, not eliminate it, but limit that. So keep that in mind. And then your trans fats, the saturated fat is not in the partially hydrogenated oils. That's going to be your trans fats. Okay, you're going to find trans fats in those oils that your fried foods typically are fried in, unless you're doing it like in a peanut oil or coconut oil or something like that. Those partially hydrogenated oils, those are going to have those trans fats in them. And also a lot of food additives are going to have trans fats in them. So keep that in mind when you're reading your labels. We want to, as much as possible, avoid trans fats, because those are actually destructive to heart health and can cause unhealthy cholesterol levels. So we want to avoid the trans fats as much as possible and focus on getting the healthy fats into our diet more. Okay, finally, our carbs. Carbs are, when we talk about carbs, we're talking about fiber, starches, and sugars are the primary sources of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates help our bodies to pull water and keep our muscles and tissues and stuff hydrated. That's what we call them, carbohydrates, okay? They are our body's preferred energy source because they are more quickly broken down into the glucose that our body uses to create energy. So our bodies love the energy that love carbs for converting into energy. Carbohydrates are also an essential nutrient. We have to get them from our diet. Okay. So there's two different kinds of carbs. There's the complex carbs and the simple carbs. Complex carbs are going to be your fruits and veggies, your whole grains, and like the starches. So like potatoes, rice, quinoa, oats, okay, those your fruits and veggies, those are going to be your complex carbs. They take longer to break down and digest, and they so they give you a more sustained energy. Whereas the simple carbs, those are your sugars, your table sugar, your honey, your agave syrup, your maple syrup. Those break down very quickly, and they will produce a spike in your blood sugar for quick energy. Now, when we say spikes the blood sugar, there's a lot of kind of stigma that goes along with that. Having a spike in your blood sugar is not a bad thing. In fact, whenever you eat anything, it's going to create a spike in your blood sugar. That's why we have a pancreas that produces insulin that goes and balances that out. And if your pancreas is healthy, then you're not going to have any problem. That blood sugar spike is going to be balanced out the way it's supposed to. Where we run into trouble is if we're pre-diabetic or have a type 1 or type 2 diabetes, so that our body is either not making any or making enough of that insulin that our body produces to counteract that blood sugar spike. And sometimes there are situations where we need a spike in the blood sugar. You know, if your blood sugar drops low, or if you're, you know, doing an endurance event and you're running out of the energy, the glycogen stores, we need to introduce some sugar into the body so that we can very quickly get some energy back. So it's useful when a quick energy burst is needed, and even diabetics, when their blood sugars get too low, they need sugar quickly. Obviously they want, you know, we have to be more careful about how much they take in, and sometimes even the source. But fruit juice and hard candies, you know, those are the kinds of things that a diabetic will keep on hand, because in the right situation, that's what's called for. So it's not that they're bad, but they need to be kind of kept in their proper place. And we want to limit the sugars, especially the added sugars, as much as possible. Okay, we love natural sugars that are found in fruits. And the nice thing about that is they're balanced in the fruits. They're balanced out with that fiber that helps to kind of counteract also that blood sugar spike. And the fiber is that essential nutrient that we need to. Then it helps with digestion. So that's a kind of high level shotgun fire hose approach to the macronutrients.